and today we are reacting to his story. He's been popping off lately. People have been doing reactions about him, and today we're gonna be trying. He already has 5.43 million, more than me. So subscribe to help that happen. Um, so we're gonna watch his most latest short. His first 10 around. And let's go. First one, we have I lied about loving Twilight.
I was in the middle of my bio.
What?
I told my girl, my older brother.
Hold on. Something just happened. Give me a second.
Mom, I was the world's biggest Twilight fan because her living room had 6 Edward posters and I wanted her to like me. She grabbed both my hands and whispered, "Finally, someone for trivia night." Then she pulled me toward the basement stairs and shouted, "Everybody get dressed. We start in 20. My girlfriend leaned close while her mom carried out a cardboard cutout of Jacob. "You told her you loved the books?" I said. I thought liking vampires was enough. Her uncle walked past us in a blonde wig. Hurried downstairs with glitter smeared across their cheeks and collarbones like they had just stepped into vampire sunlight. Someone planted a life-size werewolf beside the snacks, and her mom rang a bell shaped like an apple, and I realized I had lied myself into Forks, Washington. Her mom pointed at me first. "Easy one. Who turned Edward into a vampire?" I had seen one movie on cable, half asleep, so I gripped my paper plate and guessed the first doctor name I could find in my brain. "Carlisle." The basement clapped. Uncle Carlisle adjusted his blonde wig like I had honored his bloodline. Her mom leaned over the scorecard. "What gift does Jasper have?" I pinched my girlfriend's sleeve under the table. She did not help. "Bad vibes?" The room went silent. Then her cousin said, "Technically, emotional manipulation." Everyone clapped again. I stopped gripping the plate. Twilight sounded fake, even when it was real. Her mom asked why vampires played baseball during thunderstorms. I said, "Because they hit the ball like a car crash." "Correct." Then she smiled. "What did Jacob do after Bella had her baby?" I sank lower in my chair while the werewolf cutout leaned over the snacks. No real answer could be normal, so I built the worst sentence I could. "He fell in love with the baby?" My girlfriend covered her face. Her mom slammed the apple bell. "Imprinted, but yes." Her mom stood and cleared her throat. "Final question. Alice can see the future, unless what?" The whole sparkly family turned to look at me expectantly. I began to sweat, knowing I couldn't fake my way out of this one. My girlfriend shook her head, begging me to stop. But Twilight had taught me one thing. The answer was whatever made the least sense. Unless someone changes their mind? Her mom dropped the scorecard. The basement went silent. Then Uncle Carlisle whispered, "That's correct." My girlfriend grabbed my sleeve. "How are you doing this?" I waved one hand at the Jacob cutout, the glitter, and the bell. After the baby imprinting thing, I stopped trying to be right and started trying to be Twilight. Her mom smeared glitter across my face. "You get to be Edward next month." I told my girlfriend's mom I was the world's biggest.
That was a good one. Okay, I'll get the next one up.
My older. We were eating dinner when my girlfriend Mallory ball while I was gaming. "Do you want to go play outside?" My older brother tossed me a ball while I was gaming. "Do you want to go play outside?" He smirked. The ball felt extremely wet, but I instantly shot out of my chair anyway. The back of my pants felt wet too, yet I still ran out and placed the ball on the grass, excited to finally play with my big brother. Chase laughed and called me cool, and I was confused because he usually only liked hurting me. But just as I was about to kick the ball, I heard buzzing behind me. I turned and freaked out as hundreds of bees and wasps landed on the back of my pants. I instantly screamed and began sprinting as I was allergic to their stings, yet they kept following me and sticking to my pants. Chase was on the ground laughing as I ran inside and slammed the door. But that's when I noticed the honey on my gaming chair. The back of my pants were covered in honey too, and suddenly someone tapped my shoulder. "What's wrong, honey boy?" Chase grinned with a bottle of honey, and I instantly realized he'd smeared honey on my chair. He used the fact I wanted to play with him to get me outside so I'd be swarmed by bees and wasps. I could have died. You know this. I shut the door while he laughed, and as I cleaned my chair, my fists curled into a rage. That night, I contacted our dad's beekeeper friend, and a week later, I grinned because everything was in place. I watched from behind the door as Chase walked into my room and rubbed honey on my controller, giggling to himself. But then his eyes landed on my box full of my video games, just like I'd left out. He took out a giant spoon of honey. "This is even better," and I held my breath in excitement. He opened the box, and hundreds of bees instantly flew out. They swarmed the jar of honey in my brother's hand, buzzing and stinging to get to it. Chase screamed in pain and flailed his arms to get them away, but then his hand hit my open bathroom door. The jar of honey I'd placed on top tipped, splattering on his head as the bees now swarmed to his face. He clawed at himself and tried to just sprint out of my room, and that's when I slammed the door in his face. He dropped like a statue while the bees swarmed around him. I wiped my hands and listened to the buzzing on the other side. "What's wrong, honey boy?" My older brother tossed me a ball while I told my girl.
He's the insta karma.
My older brother. We were eating dinner. I volunteered to get dunked at the school fair when my bully cut to the front with a big carnival mallet, walking straight to the target. He's been public enemy since kindergarten, so I screamed, "You're cheating! Stop!" But he raised it high anyway. "Dunk if your dad's in jail." Whack! I plunged into the freezing water as the whole school clapped. "Dunk if your mom left to get milk and nobody loves you." Whack! I hit the water again, fuming with anger. Then he held the target down, laughing, so I'd stay underwater to torture me. This is my favorite game and I'm not going anywhere. I held my breath, humiliated because everything he said was true, but he was about to regret every word. He finally stopped, and I gripped the belt across my lap to take it off. Don't talk about my dad, but the mallet came back down. Whack! And I crashed underwater before I could escape. 10 times I tried to speak, and 10 times he dropped me, until I finally stopped, defeated, letting his words get to me. But when I lifted my eyes to the crowd, I froze, because I saw a familiar face, and I couldn't help but smile. So I looked my bully dead in the eyes. "What did you say about my dad? Say it louder." He grinned and leaned into the target. "I said your daddy's a dirty criminal who's rotting in there." He dropped the mallet one more time, and I smiled because he had no idea what was coming. He held it down as my lungs burned, but through the rippling water, I saw a huge man walking straight toward him, and bubbles left my mouth as I laughed. A huge bald man with tattoos up his neck grabbed my bully's shoulder.
Dad?
"What did you say about me, huh?" The bully spun around. "Nobody's talking about you, fatty. Get lost." But I finally came up, gasping for air. "That's my dad, you idiot." His face went white as he clocked the jail uniform. My dad had gotten out that morning to surprise me and walked right into my bully. "You spent all day running your mouth about me being locked up. Now let me show you what I learned in there." My bully shrieked as my dad picked him up with one hand, and RK owed him into the tank so hard the water exploded everywhere, emptying it. Quickly, my dad strapped my bully onto the seat and handed me the mallet. I smiled. "Dunk if you're mad my dad came and yours never did." Whack! And with no water left, he slammed onto the tank floor, and my dad pulled me in and told me he loved me. I volunteered there when my bully cut to the front.
That's a good one. I'm not lying. I'll get the next one up.
I was downstairs pulling their sleepover popcorn out of the microwave when my daughter screamed from her bedroom, "I'm going to pour fire all over it." Then her best friend Emma shrieked, "No, please don't burn the house down." And my whole body went cold. I didn't know what was happening up there, but whatever it wasn't good. So I dropped the popcorn bag and ran up the stairs 3 steps at a time, screaming my daughter's name. I pressed my ear to her door and my gut tightened because my daughter's voice was ice cold. "You can't stop me, Emma." Then Emma said, "Please, I'm begging you." I pounded on their door with both fists. "Girls, open this door right now. Don't come in, Dad. We're doing something." I grabbed the handle, but it was locked. And then she said, "Now I'm lighting the fire." Emma screamed again, this time saying something even worse. "It's spreading. It's spreading so fast." I pressed my nose to the door, hunting for smoke, and found nothing. But Emma sounded like the room was already gone, and I could hear my daughter cackling like a maniac. So I flew to the garage, ripped the fire extinguisher off the wall, and screamed, "Nobody move. I'm coming." I ran up the stairs, kicked the door open, and yelled, "Get down." I unloaded the extinguisher and blasted foam across the ceiling, the bed, and onto both shrieking girls, covering the entire room with foam. But then I froze, because there was no fire and no smoke, just the laptop on the bed. And on its screen, a giant Minecraft mansion was burning to the ground while my daughter's avatar circled it with flint and steel. My legs gave out, and I sat down right on the foamy bed. "Honey, did you just burn someone's house down?" She wiped foam off her face. "Yeah, Emma stole my diamonds, so I poured lava on her mansion." Emma was on the side, sobbing into a pillow. Turns out, there never was any fire, except in Minecraft. My daughter looked at my empty hands. "Dad, where's the popcorn?" I said, "Popcorn's downstairs," and walked back down with the fire extinguisher. I was downstairs pulling their sleepover popcorn microwave when my daughter screamed from her bedroom.
That's crazy.
"I'm going to pour." I was downstairs pulling the. My science teacher. I was downstairs. My science teacher dropped my test on my desk with a giant red F at the top, and my eyes shot wide because every answer on the page was correct. I raised my hand and asked why I got an F when I got everything right. Ms. Briers spun around so fast I thought she'd give herself whiplash. "Because you're lazy. You've skipped my class all year, and now you think a few right answers earns you a pass." I stood up and told her that's exactly what I think. I aced it because I actually love science, not because I sat in her room. She crossed the room in 2 steps and got right in my face. She grabbed the pen and wrote a giant F in her notebook so hard the page nearly ripped. "We got new microscopes in 2 weeks ago. You were never here and somehow knew everything about them. That's cheating, and I'll report you for it." I clenched my fists so hard the test crumpled in my hand. "This is bullcrap. Every answer is right. I'm taking this to the principal." I stormed out, and she grabbed her gradebook and followed me the whole way. In the principal's office, I slammed the crumpled test on his desk and told him every answer was correct, and she'd failed me anyway. Ms. Briers cut in before I finished. "He skipped my class all year. He doesn't deserve to pass." The principal smoothed the test flat and ran his eyes down it, his brow tightening. "But these answers are all correct. Why did you fail him?" The color drained from her face. "Because he skips my class. He can't just skip my class and pass." The principal set the test down and turned to her. "Do you know why he skips your class?" She opened her mouth, but nothing came out, so I said it for her. Every afternoon while her class was running, I was working at the nearby grocery store, and every paycheck went straight to the science department because the school couldn't afford science equipment. The principal nodded because he already knew. I turned to Ms. Briers. "I knew everything about those new microscopes because I'm the one who bought them. I love science, so I'll skip your class every time if that means getting the equipment for me and my classmates." Her hands shook as she mumbled an apology, then opened her gradebook, crossed out my F, and wrote an A. My science teacher dropped my test on my desk with a
Not that
giant
crazy. Okay, let's see the comments on this one. "This kid is an absolute G. 5K, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. He gets so much views and likes and so quick, like, you know? Not all heroes wear capes." Okay.
I snuck into an art museum with my own painting hidden behind my back, along with $1 million price tag in my hand. An expert was lecturing a crowd. Only a trained eye can recognize true art, while pointing at a banana taped to the wall. I nodded and smiled, because this is exactly why I came here. I was broke, so if a banana was art, my painting of a coffee stain was about to make me rich. I stood near an empty wall, and the second the security guard turned away, I slapped my painting on the wall, stuck the price tag under it, and slid back into the crowd. My heart was racing so fast I had to pat my chest to calm down. A rich collector spotted the new painting, so he pushed everyone out of the way and planted himself in front of my painting. His eyes went wide, and he waved the expert from earlier. The crowd followed, and the collector pointed at the painting with a smile. "This is exquisite. The craftsmanship must be from the 1800s. I rubbed my hands together and began imagining how I was going to spend the $1 million. But then I saw my signature was smudged, and I froze, because without my name, nobody could prove it was mine. So I immediately slid over to fix it. I touched the smudge with my finger, but the expert instantly snatched my wrist. "Do not touch the art. Get this idiot out of here." I went pale and tried to pull my hand back, but the guard was already lifting me off my feet. "Wait, that's my painting. I was just fixing it." He shook his head, laughed, and started carrying me away. That's when the collector asked who painted it, and the expert straightened his tie. "It's me. I painted this." His trained eye had recognized the true art, and he had stolen my idea of getting rich. "No!" I saw the collector hand over $1 million check to that expert, and my hands started shaking. But the guard just carried me past the banana, so I ripped it off the wall and took a bite.
Why did he eat the peel? What? Yo! Okay, next one.
I woke up. We were eating dinner when my girlfriend Mallory pulled a puppet.
Okay, we have the next one. Something happened.
I woke up to my little brother standing over me in ski goggles and oven mitts, aiming his toy bow at my face. "Get up. The wasp monster found our base." He dragged me downstairs while I told him he was crazy, but he shook his head. "Relax. I haven't washed my underwear in 3 months. I'm immune to all wasps." I gagged so hard I almost passed out. Then he pointed through the front door window, and my gagging stopped. A wasp nest the size of a basketball was hanging right above our door. If that swarm got inside, we were cooked. Before I could stop him, he cracked the door and fired. The suction cup stuck to the nest, and wasps poured out of every hole. I desperately yanked the door shut before they could get in. Then I grabbed the garden hose out back and blasted the nest before the swarm could settle. But the pressure died mid-spray, and the whole swarm turned on me. So I sprinted inside screaming and slammed the door. Through the peephole, I watched the nest sag lower, swinging by one thread over the doorknob. Wasps started tapping the windows looking for a way in, and my heart was pounding because we had nothing left. That's when I remembered what my brother had said about his 3 months of unwashed underwear. I turned to him and said in my most serious voice, "Take it off." He backed against the wall, hugging his waistband. "No, that's my armor." I wrestled it off him and flung it onto the porch, praying his filth could do what the hose couldn't. The entire swarm left the nest and gathered around it. They took one sniff, and every single wasp dropped out of the sky, dead on sniff. My brother was on the floor saying he felt weird, but I just laughed. Your underwear wasn't armor, it was a chemical weapon. The wasp monster never stood a chance. I woke up
Nah, that one was crazy, bro.
We were eating dinner when I woke up to my little. The doctor pointed at my daughter's hospital room with tears in his eyes. The treatment failed. Your 9-year-old has a week left to live, maybe less. I'm sorry. I wiped my face, walked back in, and knelt next to Kaya and put down the Barbie doll she was playing with. Baby, the doctor just told me you beat the cancer. You're in remission. The treatment was successful. I did my best to seem happy. She'd spent 2 years in a hospital, and she wasn't spending her last week alive hopeless in it too. She shot up so fast her IV pole rattled. Then can we celebrate? Can we go to Disneyland? Please, please, please. I was already reaching for her shoes. Let's go for a full week. This is going to be the best week of your life. I promise. As soon as we arrived, she spotted Tiana by the castle and dragged me so hard I almost fell. She wrapped both arms around her waist. You're the princess who got me through all my chemo treatments over the last 2 years. I watched Princess and the Frog a bajillion times, and guess what? I'm cancer-free. Tiana pressed a hand to her heart and pulled her in. Well then, this moment ought to be documented. A cast member snapped a photo of them mid-laugh. It printed instantly, and Kaya sprinted back waving it. Daddy, look, I'm gonna keep this forever. I smiled wide enough to hide the ache spreading through my chest. The sun was setting, and Tiana pointed towards the Disney parade. They have one at the end of every day. Y'all can't miss it. Kaya climbed onto my shoulders and stretched both arms out like an airplane while I ran side to side. When we got there, fireworks burst over the castle. But when I looked down, Kaya was doubled over, coughing at full force. When she pulled her hands away from her mouth, they were red. Daddy, why is there blood? I took a deep breath, ready to tell her another lie. But the next cough was so aggressive she fell to the floor. I scooped her up and ran for the gates screaming for help while the fireworks kept going behind us. In the ambulance, she never let go of the photo. We were in the hospital when the doctor said the words I'll never forget. She's gone. I'm so sorry. Tears streamed down my face. I promised her the best week of her life. She got 9 hours, but she spent every one of them as a girl who'd won. The doctor pointed at my daughter's hospital room with tears.
No, that's wholesome. Guys, we're gonna have our last one for today.
Middle-aged man barged into my barbershop, skipping the entire line and pushing the old man I was about to cut out of the chair. I've got a date in 30 minutes. I need to look perfect for her. Everybody else can wait. He plops down into the chair and tells me to start. I shake my head. That's not this works. But he's already shoving $200 at me. I'll pay double, but you're cutting me right now. He stares at the old man he just shoved. Get in the line. He snaps his fingers at me. I look at the customers still waiting, then grin deviously. Fine, I'll cut you right now, I tell him. He groans, finally, then takes out his phone, looking down to book reservations and not paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm patterns. An S appears on the top. He looks ridiculous, but he's too focused on his phone to look at me. I know the owner personally, so mess this up and you're done here. Now hurry up. My date will get sad if I'm late, but his date will get sad either way, as his head looks like a blindfolded third grader's arts and crafts project. Other customers start giggling at how he looks, and suddenly he turns around. What's everyone laughing at? He raises his head towards the mirror for the first time and sees the abomination that is his haircut. I throw my hands up. Isn't this what you wanted? He instantly leaps out his chair, looking like he's about to punch me. You ruined my date, you incompetent weasel. I'm still laughing as someone pulls out their phone to take a photo of him. But just as he curls his fists, the barbershop bell chimes. A bald 7-year-old girl walks in. Daddy, are you ready for our date? His face turns to smile as he turns around. Of course, sweetheart. My stomach turns in horror as I realize he's going on a date with his daughter who has cancer, and I just destroyed his hair. But then she points at him. You look so stupid, Daddy. She clutches her belly laughing, and suddenly the man pulls me into a giant hug. I still hate the haircut, but that's the first time she's laughed in months, thank you. He pulls away, and I watch them walk out together, laughing about his hair.
That's crazy, bro. Guys, that'll be it for today's video. Go subscribe to his story and myself. Yo! For a chance to win a free iPhone 17 every million. Okay. Okay. That'll be it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.